afternoon to the members of the media. Yeah, it's a tough match. Never easy to play a team that is relatively new and relatively unknown, but with an experienced technical team. Coach Steve Barker is very experienced. He's been with Tuks. He knows the competition. He knows the league. And he's got a good assistant in Coach Wesley as well. So a strong technical team backed up by a very strong team. They've done very well in the transfer market. You can see the new recruits, and also kept the core of the squad that helped them win promotion last season, and that makes it very difficult because it's a team that's got cohesive superiority, and that is one of their major strengths. The challenge is Mabasa. The challenge is that the competition is strong. Shonga is a very important player for us. He offers us a different dynamic with regards to our game model and how we have to play when we play with Shonga. But at the same time, also in the same moment, he knows that as much as he's important, he's also got a lot of other important strikers around him that he's got to compete with. And one being Mabasa, the other being Mango. There's Molenga also in that fray, and there's the young Zakhele Lipasa also, and they're all important players and strikers, and they all know how important they are to the team. And Justin Shonga did extremely well for Zambia against Benin. Took the 2 goals very well. It's not like there were penalties or set plays, but the movement of the shoulders for both goals, one a little bit further out and the other one inside the box. We sat down with him also to analyze his performance and to check. But he's in a good space at the moment, and he's competing for his place. And but the most important thing is that he understands that as much as he's important, there's also other very important players, and they all have to compete, and that's the nature of the beast at Orlando Pirates. We've got quality players in all the positions, and they've got to compete for their place. And at the moment, Mabasa has got the nod, and he patiently has to wait for his turn, and when he gets it, he's got to grab it with both hands and not look back. Look, I've always maintained that for us, our ethos is based on 2 things. 1, hard work. 2 is preparation, and we try as much as possible to be prepared for the opposition. The players have done the work, and fortunately for us, we had the FIFA break. And sometimes when you've got a lot of days, you've got a lot more time to invest in analyzing the opposition and trying to check their strengths, their weaknesses. And we've checked their last 8 games, and they've evolved. We played them in pre-season, but as the season has started from their first match of Chippa, they've evolved to the last match against Polokwane. They've done different things. They've used different formations. They've played players in different positions. But as a team, they've become stronger and stronger, and that's a sign of very good coaching. But as a team, we're aware of the strengths. We're aware of their weaknesses. We've gone into detail, but we also a little bit wary of over-analyzing the opponent and forgetting our strengths at the same time, because we've also had to take a step back and check where we are and how to improve ourselves as well. So it's been a FIFA break that's been a bit of a challenge, because we've had a couple of internationals out representing their countries, and we love that. We're humbled to have good players that are recognized in their national teams. But at the same time, we would have loved to have them, because we want to work, and we want to improve the team, and that's what we tried hard to do. Yeah. Look, you concede goals not necessarily because of structural issues, which could have been one of the issues, but we've gone into that. We've analyzed the goals we conceded, not just the goals we conceded in the last 6 matches, but we went from the beginning of the season, and we've tried to really dig deep into the issues and not just scratch the surface, because the detail is in the depth, and to try and find as much information as possible to try to rectify some of the problems. We are also looking at the positives because we've also scored a lot of goals, and we want to keep that side. We want to keep our attacking prowess and make sure that we don't lose that. But having said that, we've worked on our defensive forms and our defensive structure, and we've tried to make sure that we improve on those things. With regards to Ben Mutswara, yeah, just an unfortunate setback, but we'll have to see and pass a late fitness test. But Linda Mtambo is fully fit and ready to go. I need air to breathe. Pirates needs trophies. And we know about our drought. We're aware of the drought. It's 7 years, but 7 is a very symbolic number in the Bible. And if you go into the Bible, you know how many times the number 7 comes out. We are aware that we've gone through a 7-year drought, and the 7-year drought started before me, and it will continue even if it's not with me, you know. So it's not about me, it's about the club. And the most important thing is for us to serve the club and make sure that we do our utmost best to stop the drought, because a club of Orlando Pirates' magnitude is a club that deserves to be winning trophies week in, week out, season in, season out, and competing for championships and trophies. And that is the responsibility that comes with being at Orlando Pirates. I don't need the trophies. The club needs the trophies, and that's the most important thing. When you're at Pirates, you are there to serve, and ours is just to serve and make sure that we do the best that we can to fulfill the expectations, number one, and number two, to make sure that we make our people happy, because our people deserve to be happy. We were once known as the happy people, and we'd like to be known as the happy people once again. Yeah, I think we, and as much as we have to be realistic and we have to see the situation as it occurred. Unfortunately, when the transition took place, and recently you saw, I don't know how many of you saw in Asia what happened with one of the relays. The baton was passed on, but just as the transition was taking place, it was actually dropped. And they lost the race because the baton was dropped, and not because they didn't have the speed to beat the opposition. And we find ourselves in a similar position where we unfortunately lost our head coach during the transition, and it was not a timeless thing, and we just had to pick up the baton and continue to run. The intervals have come in and have come in very handy. The first interval was to stabilize things, and we were not scoring a lot of goals, and we tried to work on our offensive schemes and try to make sure that we work hard on creating goals and completing our attacking phases, which we've done very, very well. But now we've had to come into this break and try to find the balance between both our game forms and make sure that the one mirrors the other, because in most of our games that has not been happening. But we've put in a lot of work, and credit not only just to the players, because our players believe in us, we believe in them. But we've got a very strong technical team, and the technical team has put in a lot of hard work behind the scenes to analyze and to check and to make sure that we cover up the cracks, because we want to be a complete team. We want to be a team that is threatening in different phases of the game, but at the same time we also want to be strong and resilient, and not to concede as many chances, because the more chances you concede, the more likely you are to concede goals, and that's where you find analysts talking about expected goals scored, expected goals conceded. So we are in that space, but we're working extremely hard to make sure that we improve the situation and improve the team holistically. As much as I don't like to talk about myself, I think I've said this many a times, that the club is bigger than me. The fans are more important than me. The football players are far more important than me. And when you come to a club like Orlando Pirates, that's the first thing that you've got to be very conscious of. You humble yourself and you make sure that you do not put yourself above the club, because the club has been in existence since 1937. I was not even a thought at that time. So as much as I don't like to think about myself, I understand that the journey that I've taken, and I'm very fortunate. I consider myself very fortunate, because a lot of coaches do not get their first coaching opportunity or head coach opportunity at a big club like Orlando Pirates. There's a lot of talk that has been saying he must run his own race, and the expectation was that I run my race and I start to run my race with smaller clubs, but God had a different plan, and God made me and put me in a situation where I start running my race at a prestigious club like this. And I've got to be grateful and be humbled to the management of the club for giving me this opportunity. But at the same time, that comes with a huge responsibility. And it's like being put in the gold mine. But if you know process, and if you understand the value of the most valuable elements in the world, you talk about platinum, you talk about gold, you talk about diamonds. They've all got to go through the process of heat, being cut, and pressure. And if you want to become a person of value, if you want to become a person of credibility, you've got to withstand heat. You've got to be prepared to be cut, and you've got to be prepared to go through the pressure, because you know what the outcome is most likely to be. So as much as I understand, and I am a man of process, and I respect process, and I'm prepared to go through even the deepest, darkest of gold mines, because it wouldn't be for the first time. And I say all the time to you guys, I'm here to serve. My grandfather died for this club. My uncle Jomosono left his wedding for this club, and who am I to complain when I have to spend sleepless nights? That's all they ask of me. They ask of me to spend sleepless nights to make sure that the club gets back to winning ways, and that's it. That's the only thing. If it comes with pressure, so be it. If it means I get cut, so be it. But if at the end of the day it results into Orlando Pirates reclaiming its glory days, I'm prepared to even die for that.